Hello, this is Todd Luck, and this is a review of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel. It's the conclusion of last season's Power Rangers Ninja Steel series, so I highly recommend watching that first before you watch this season. Since it's a continuation of the same series, most of what was true of last season remains true of this one. If you're a parent, it's still an age-appropriate show for kids with positive heroic role models, pro-social messages, and the action is fantasy violence, which the Rangers only use to defend themselves or others against evil aliens. However, you still might want to watch this with your child since some of the episodes can be good conversation starters on various topics. The show continued to be an episodic slice-of-life teen drama combined with quirky space monster action. Having each episode revolve around mundane, regular life stuff is something I would have never thought would have worked in an action-driven kids show, but I find myself greatly enjoying it and looking forward to each episode. The show ended up having a lot of the same flaws as last season, like some occasions of bad writing, unconvincing special effects, and lame or anticlimactic action, but these issues were fewer and far less pronounced. Episodes felt diminished but rarely ruined by these inconsistencies. It's not a perfect show, but it was definitely one I really liked and really enjoyed watching. The Zords continued to be fun this season, and the wonderful zaniness got turned up a notch with the Surfer Zord and Blaze Megazord. I think we all need a Megazord on a surfboard in our lives. I continued to find all the Rangers to be likable, identifiable characters that I enjoyed learning more about as the season progressed. Brody continued to be underdeveloped. He still got less focus episodes than his teammates and even got less screen time in focus episodes than others did, since his focus episodes tended to have other things going on. He was still a decent, likable character. I just wish more had been done with him. One thing I am glad at is that most of the characters ended up with the more quirkier, more complex sort of stories that only Sarah seemed to get in the first season. This really helped me appreciate Calvin and Haley, both in their individual focus episodes and in their episodes as a couple. And yes, Calvin actually had multiple focus episodes that were sweet, endearing, and really captured what relationships are like. Haley had some really unique episodes. In Making Waves, Haley and Sarah got weirded out that their single parents are dating each other and tried to sabotage the date. It was a lot of fun seeing the girls try to do a reverse parent trap on their parental units, and great actually seeing parents as fleshed out characters in the show. Haley also had a really interesting subplot in the Sheriff Skyfire episode with Clint, a strict but adorable security guard at their school, portrayed by the immensely talented Byron Cole. As in a lot of her focus episodes, she was too quick to judge Clint, but by the end came to an understanding of him and does a really cool act of kindness for Clint at the end. And they actually acknowledge that rules exist for reasons and have a place in society. This is super refreshing in a pop culture where heroes repeatedly do things that would get them arrested, fired, or expelled on a regular basis. A show actually acknowledging that society does have a structure and that it does work most of the time is honestly kind of amazing. Integrating real recycling issues into the episode was also a nice touch, and I know some folks who would love to have the recycling detector machine the Rangers gave Clint at the end. Calvin had a really great episode in Car Trouble, where he drops out to pursue his dream of being a mechanic, only to have Mick help him understand that he can achieve things he hadn't even considered with further education. It was a surprisingly nuanced look at the issue, talking about both the need for skilled trades and education, and giving a really smart example that Calvin could have become an airplane mechanic, which is a vital occupation with a projected shortage in the near future. An interesting tidbit on Calvin is he's the only Ranger who has had any parents seen in the show. Since he never mentions them, even when he dropped out, I sort of wonder if he lives on his own. It might explain why he's so close with Haley. It's just a theory, but it's an interesting one. Preston continued to be a likable guy, and his magic was always a lot of fun. Peter Sudarso definitely could have used more experience and practice as an actor before taking the role, but he was always fun to watch regardless. His best performance was in the excellent Sandy subplot, which introduced a romantic interest for Preston. Sudarso knocked his performance out of the park, perfectly capturing the uncertainty and emotional vulnerability of asking someone out. Levi continued to be an enjoyable character. His humble and generous nature makes him very likable, even with his stardom. Probably my favorite Levi episode was Tough Love, as he tried to conform to his new overly controlling girlfriend. A lot of his focus episodes tended to be about identity, which makes sense since he's had several. This accumulated in a nice moment in Good to Be Me, where he's stripped of his singing voice and de-aged into a child, at one point even assuming his childhood identity of Aiden. But he has this moment of zen, kind of, where he accepts all that and stops letting outward things define who he is. It's a bit deep for a show like this, but it's appreciated nonetheless. Sarah continues to be my favorite character. Her most interesting episode was Need for Speed. Instead of going for a hackneyed cliche of cheating, they instead had her trick out her hoverboard with monster tech, which didn't break any rules but wasn't something she was proud of. Most people who do something wrong in real life never actually break a law or rule. It's basically up to their own moral compass how they deal with it, and Sarah's actions at the end say volumes about her as a human being. Christiani continued to deliver in every performance as Sarah. One thing that hit me this season was that Sarah's mannerisms and behavior are slightly manic, which makes sense for someone as creative as she is, and the way it's portrayed here is just spot on. Normally in pop culture, brilliant inventors either isolate themselves from their friends and family, or are socially awkward, or just plain jerks, or they're mad scientists. Or if someone's trying to do a more authentic portrayal, they'll just pick out a random symptom out of a psychology book, like Mark Zuckerberg doodling in The Social Network. Sarah's is honestly the first time I've seen a character like this portrayed in a way that actually felt authentic to me. She's generally a normal, likable person, but occasionally she might be overconfident or can't bring herself to listen to the advice of others or comes up with creative ways to justify things to herself. They give her personality quirks that are believable without being an overly exaggerated caricature. Victor and Monty, while occasionally funny this season, still felt like a waste of time. Plus, having the Rangers laugh at them sometimes felt mean-spirited and dated in a very bad way. I hope they don't revisit this trope on the show ever again. As far as the villains go, Madame Odious was a good one. Watching her Machiavellian plans bear fruit made her an enjoyable bad guy. I also loved her general contempt for everyone and everything. And it was a nice change to see a character who's just a schemer and not a fighter take charge. And it's kind of refreshing she was a woman as well, because most of the female characters are pretty much sacrificed by the bad guy, who's the main guy at the end of the season. So it was kind of nice to see Odious flip the script on that. The season's other villains weren't particularly original or deep, but looked cool and had interesting powers and had enough personality to make them engaging. Whether it was Intergalactic Ninjas or Tinamon, they were just a really solid lineup this season. The only one I felt they dropped the ball on was Brax, who had a really interesting first episode, but then showed up for a couple of brief anticlimactic fight scenes before his demise. The monsters of the week were a mixed bag, but brownie points for creativity on game plan, for taking an awful-looking Sentai monster and putting him in a really interesting episode on video game addiction, where Game Goblin starts out as a creature from a crappy mobile game, which actually justified the character's crude appearance even after he assumes his true form. The only issue I had with that episode was the stupid way they scared the students into not playing the game by tricking them into thinking it's cursed. This seemed like a Reefer Madness reference, but seemed too cynical for these heroes and was just downright silly at the end with the Cosmo scene. Still, it's only a minor gripe for an otherwise great episode. On Terrible Monsters of the Week, we have an elephant with a toupee in the season premiere, which was filled with fart jokes, bad writing, unmorphed rangers kicking around weak monsters, and Sledge and his crew, and various other things I hate. The premiere was the worst episode of not just the season, but the whole Ninja Steel series. Most other non-focus episodes were actually really good. The mid-season premiere with the awesome Foxatron and a fresh take on going on a journey to earn new Zords was actually really great. There was a 25th anniversary episode called Dimensions in Danger, which focused on Tommy and had appearances by other legendary Rangers. The Ninja Steel characters were written so generically they could have been easily switched out for characters from any other season. And there were quite a few bits of story nonsense in there, like Sarah tying up Brody for no reason. But the action was so good, it just really didn't matter. It was just a good, solid episode. The season finale was fantastic, easily my favorite episode of the season. Every scene that should have been there was there and was well done. It's a nice high note to go out on. The Halloween episode, while not as good as last season's holiday specials, was fun. The Christmas episode was a Dino Charge crossover with Coda and Sledge that essentially felt like the 45th episode of Dino Charge. Dino Charge, in my opinion, was the worst series in franchise history and was like nails down chalkboard for me every episode, and this was no exception. But I am glad for Dino Charge fans and the Sudarsu brothers that they got to do that team up. Overall, this was just a really enjoyable series. Every Power Rangers series is always completely different than the one before it. So undoubtedly next season we'll put the regular life stuff in the backseat for more traditional sci-fi angst, which is fine, but I'm glad we got that crazy little experiment called Ninja Steel. Power Rangers has always been a refreshing break from the exaggerated cynicism and bleakness of modern television and movies. But with this series, it was even more pronounced, with the Rangers being regular teens doing regular things. It's just nice seeing teens that remind me of people I grew up with and young people I know now. It created a series that really resonated with me, reminded me of the better parts of humanity during times in real life when that was kind of easy to forget. I want to thank everyone involved with making the show because it's just been a constant bright spot in my existence for the last 2 years. So that's it. Most of Power Rangers Ninja Steel is on Netflix, and the rest of the series will be on there next year. And those with cable can watch the episodes on Nick.com. Power Rangers will return with a new series called Beast Morphers in February. Let me know what you think of Ninja Steel in the comments below, and please like and subscribe for more videos. Until next time, show's over. Ninjas win.